The National Voters Register for next year's elections has come under sharp criticism from a section of political commentators who are suspicious of the manner in which the Electoral Commission arrived at the figure. The Electoral Commission recently announced a final number of 15.3 million voters, but that figure has raised eyebrows in some quarters.
The people who will be 18 years are just 16.6. That means, I don't know how many will be by that time, but what that means that then you have to ask yourself the question that then this 15.3 that the EC is giving us, how does it relate to the 16.6?
The EC negated its responsibility to actually go and collect its own data as mandated by the Constitution to be able to update a new voters register. So from that angle, you can already see that there was a contest.
But the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Badru Chigundu, says a number of factors can be attributed to the rise.
102 million. Still can be population changes. You know, Uganda is one of those countries with the highest production rates in population. Secondly, because there was this innovation by government, that this time around we must have national identity. We must identify our own citizens. So there was a motivation. People wanted actually to get an ID, and that alone was an enticing element.
The number of registered voters has been fluctuating over the last 4 elections. In 1996, the Electoral Commission recorded 8.5 million voters. The number rose to 1.8 million in 2001 and dropped slightly to 10.5 million in the 2006 election. In 2011, it shot to 13.9 million, and this year, the Electoral Commission puts the figure at 15.3 million voters. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics conducted the National Housing and Population Census last year. The organization's projections shows that the number of adults ought to be more than the number that the electoral body has registered.
Currently, given our projections, as I said, we don't have information on age data. It is 16.6 million Ugandans. We call them adults. We have 16.6 million adults.
The concerns on the voters' register come amid fears of the disenfranchisement of scores of Ugandans over the use of the national identity cards for voting. But the Commission allayed those fears in a news conference this morning by stating that all registered voters will be allowed to vote. The Commission may, however, have to do more legwork just 2 months into the election to clarify that point. Current figures would mean that there are additional 1.4 million voters in the 2016 polls. With the opposition considering forcing a runoff with the incumbent president, how these new voters, as well as the nearly half who do not vote will vote, is key for any of the 8 presidential candidates. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.